Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Tarot Times.
Hi.
Good to see so many people here already. There's like 31 people in the room, so it's lovely to see all of you guys here waiting for us. First things first, I suppose it's incumbent on us to say Happy New Year. As a group, as a channel, the Tarot Times. So Happy New Year to everybody who's in the chat and who's watching this back later. So
yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh, I do apologise. I normally turn my sound down, so I don't know why. Who's watching this back? I want to go later. So
yeah, Happy New Year.
Sorry, how unprofessional of me. Yeah, so Happy New Year anyway to everybody, and thank you for being here. So it's my turn this month to host the Tarot Times, and yeah, really excited to. This is our 8th one. This is the 8th edition, and I can't believe how quickly this is gone. It's a year next month since we sat at yours, Becca, in February, isn't it? And came up with this whole idea with Sandra and.
It is in Hufkins, in my little town.
Yeah. Oh, in the days when you could sit in a cafe together and have breakfast.
That breakfast was lush.
It was amazing breakfast, wasn't it?
It was pretty nice. Yeah.
I think that was the last time I had black pudding.
I didn't have black pudding with mine. You got a choice, didn't you? You could have, but we all had toast.
Yeah.
And there was mushrooms and
beans.
Oh god, beans, eggs, sausage, bacon. Well, you had a veggie.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy.
No, I was vegan back in the day, but no.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, the notifications just come up for the Tarot Times. So we might even see more people filing in now that the notification's gone out. But yeah, talking about food and all, and we were just saying before I'm back on the healthy plan now. Christmas is done, 50th birthday is done, New Year's done, and all the other excuses I could come up with to eat, drink, and be merry. So I'm on Diet Coke and back into that mindset. You had it at Glastonbury. I had black pudding at Glastonbury. Oh, of course. In the Georgian Pilgrim on that last morning before I came and picked you up, Elle, and we went to Avebury. I did. You're right, Sandra.
Oh, if I'd have known you had black pudding, I wouldn't have went.
I did ask if you wanted to come and join us for breakfast. Do you remember? Because you was up at the tour at 7 o'clock on your own. I'm like, you want to have breakfast with us?
Nah, too busy up the tour. My sheep people.
Yeah, you're like, stuff you.
Bonding with a sheep.
Yeah, and strange men.
Didn't hear about that bit.
Yeah, that's for a late night broadcast, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, Tarot Time stuff. So, yes, the first one of 2021. So the running order for the next hour is, as usual, we will give you a bit of a overview of some decks, and it's always a selection of decks. We can't, know every deck that's coming, and Sandra has done lots of research into this and let us know kind of what decks that are coming out independently produced that might be on Kickstarter and also mass market, and she kind of knows our taste, so has selected some that she thinks we would be wanting to talk about and feel that we've got some sort of kind of what's the word, when we're kind of drawn to certain decks, she thinks that will be in our taste. So we'll be giving an overview of indie, Kickstarter and mass market. We've got a little bit of tarot news, and then we will be doing our thorough review of the Dark Goddess tarot. So this is the new mass market one from Red Feather. And Elle, your mass market hasn't arrived yet, but you do have the independently produced one. So it might be nice to be able to see the difference as well between mass market and the indie version. So that's using our 10 category kind of scale for reviewing decks. There isn't a giveaway this time because last month we reviewed the Witcher's Wisdom Tarot, which was a firm favourite with all of us. And because none of us scored it less than 5 out of 10, we decided to keep it. So we'll have to see how we get on with Dark Goddess as to whether there'll be a giveaway next month or not.
Probably not a giveaway from me with my indie. I think that'd be a bit silly.
Yeah, I won't give away your indie, but you'll have to see how you feel about the mass market. So yeah, welcome to everybody that's here. Shall we kick straight off then with talking about some decks that are coming up in the month of January? So we're right at the beginning of January. And we'll start with independent decks. And the first one is Elle, you're kicking off, aren't you, talking about an independent deck that you've been doing a bit of research into?
Yes, it is called, okay, let me get this. The Diramazioni Tarot, which is limited edition and available on Etsy. The shop is going to reopen in January with more stock. So it's the peculiarity of this deck is that it's the names given to the minor arcana. The minor images are based in the Rider-Waite-Smith, so many will find them familiar. However, this deck does have its own unique visual and concept. The traditional names of the minor arcana and court cards have been renamed. Wands are twigs. Cups are, oh my god, what is that word? Amphorae?
Oh, spell it.
Amphorae.
A-E. Amphorae. Okay.
Wow, yeah, does anyone else in the chat know what?
Google it.
Pentacles are amulets and swords are sickles. The page, queen and king have been replaced by youth, lady and lord. The knights remain as knights. And some of the horses are mythological creatures. A hippocampus, I thought that was part of the brain. And then it's got that word again. Amphorae is water. Griffin for the fire. Pegasus for air. And the knight is it's a normal horse. So the deck is darker both in looks and feel. Yeah, looks quite cool.
So Oak Mama says amphorae are wine jugs. And thank you, Jen, from Jen's Balanced Tarot for posting a link. So I did flash up the image, but this is a sample of what the cards look like. What do we think?
They remind me a little bit of some of them, the Darkness of Light.
Yes. Oh, that's me zooming in. Let me have a look.
Close up look.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Yeah, that sort of, and a bit like Heaven and Earth as well, in it, that sort of dramatic tones. And they seem to be quite popular at the moment. I'm not sure I'd get it. I think I've kind of scratched that itch with Darkness of Light and Heaven and Earth, but
Yeah.
they look interesting. I like them.
Yeah. I'm the same. I love my Darkness of Light tarot and my Heaven and Earth, so I wouldn't use that if I got it. So but it's pretty. I like it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so the indie deck that I'm going to be talking about is called the Strawberry Tarot. So I'll just show you a quick look at these cards. And they're really colourful and, bright and quite playful. And this deck purports to be an inclusive deck with a traditional major and minor arcana. And when it says traditional, in terms of like following the RWS imagery, when I was reading about the size, it was quite interesting because it says RWS sized, and I'm like, what is RWS sized?
And it's not. I got it for Brant for Christmas, and it's massive.
Well, she said that the creator, Alicia Strawberry, says she's actually now reduced the size of the cards because she'd had complaints that they were too large. So I think this must be like a second release for this month, because she's saying that she's chopped them down. So that's quite interesting. It took her 2 years to create, and the size now is 2.75 inches by 4.75 inches. It comes in a lightweight tuck box, so it is just a tuck box. But I really loved what she'd written on the back of the box. And she says, in a very personal account, really, she said, I studied and drew these cards in search of peace and understanding during the darkest, loneliest, and most painful period of my life. The tarot helped me to realize that we are all the fool, destined to fall off a cliff, but we're also the magician, born with the tools and strength we need to climb back up and manifest our best life. This deck is dedicated to survivors, to those who struggle, to the lonely, to the seekers, to the friends that we've lost along the way. And that really moved me when I read that. I thought it was really beautifully written.
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued by the deck. Again, I'll just flash up some images so you can have a look at them. They kind of remind me of something as well. It's not
Was it the
Holly.
Sluttist tarot in like the art style?
Yeah. Yes, it's got a familiar vibe to it. And looking at it, it does look pretty inclusive from what I can see so far. I don't see a lot of age representation, body size, other than the Page of Pentacles is a little bit fuller figure. But it'll be interesting to see if it lives up to what it purports to be.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
artist herself, she's really nice.
Is she?
I had like a back and forth with her. Yeah, she's really sweet.
And that's Alicia Strawberry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Cool.
I like the look of it, I've got to say. I love the bright colours. And yeah, and I like the art style of it as well. So I'd probably give that one a go.
Yeah. So Becky, you've got your indie deck.
Okay, so this one is actually a re-release, isn't it? The Star Seeker, which has been out before. So it's a re-release. So it's a 79 card deck, created to guide you on your journey towards connection, healing, intuition, and even guidance for everyday life. It says it's a whimsical interpretation of the classic 78 card tarot, with a bonus card, and it is printed on sturdy 350 GSM paper with a luxe semi-matte finish. And then there's a note to say what you might call a soft rose petal finish. So rose petal seems to be a favorite amongst some of us. So the guidebook is a 100-page in-depth guidebook with card meanings, tarot tips, and even a few spreads. The box is a flip box, which is nice, clamshell style, with a semi-matte finish to hold your cards and guidebook. And then there's a little note from the creator also down here, which sort of describes what the essence of the deck is about. They say the land, sea, and sky of the Star Seekers is one of magic and mundane, bound together in a single breath. This is the land that lives within me, something in between a parallel dimension and a fairy tale. I think of many sensitives, dreamers, and healers. Life is reflected in a similar multidimensional way. So it sounds really interesting. And yeah, it's very pale. It's not the brightest. And we can't really see any images whether she's changed much of the cards from the last printing, because we've only got the backs and the box, but it sounds nice.
I think I've watched more walkthroughs of that deck and not bought it than any other. And I think it's because I've wanted to like it. I've heard the hype about it and heard everybody else just saying, oh, this is so beautiful. And I've really tried to connect with it. And normally if I've watched a video of a walkthrough 3 times or more, I've ended up buying it. And for some reason, that one I haven't. And I don't know what it is that's making me not buy it. I don't know. I just don't know what it is. Maybe it's the pastels, maybe it's the art style, because everything else about it in terms of its production looks lush. It looks really beautiful. So
yeah, it's not. Does it remind you at all of the fountain tarot?
might look a little bit clinical and cold.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I saw it.
Oh, I was the opposite. I saw all the hype and was like, nah, I don't like it. And then I watched a walkthrough and I fell in love and I need it. I need it. It has the purple gilding and
oh yes, I forgot to mention that. That was one of the highlights, that it's got matte purple gilding.
yes.
Which sounds really nice. Unusual to get purple gilding on a deck.
Yeah.
And I've just completely missed my mouth, which is hard to do, I know.
I noticed that. I wasn't going to mention it.
Did you? How do I miss this great big gob?
Okay, so we're moving on to Kickstarter now. And there's just 2. So Becca's, you're starting off with mass market, aren't you, Becca? So it's just Ellen, myself, that's going to talk about a Kickstarter deck. So Al, over to you.
Oh, with the Kickstarter one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the Black Ritual Tarot. It's by Adam Zonka. Oh, I like that. Ends the 8th of January and estimated to be finished by February. The Black Ritual is a black and white tarot heavily inspired by the popular Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And then the creator says, I created this tarot with the intent of challenging myself and paying homage to the incredible work of Pamela Coleman Smith. Each card displays a highly detailed illustration, providing the reader with straightforward imagery that may be interpreted in a similar manner to the most prevalent tarot deck in the world. So yeah, look, it looks quite nice from that flash.
Absolutely gorgeous. I'm so tempted, but I was talking to you guys earlier about how I'm not backing any more Kickstarters at the moment. I backed 9 last year, and 8 out of 9 are so delayed, and it is so frustrating. My nerves can't take another backing. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one. It's going to go onto my wish list, because you know what I'm like for RWS anyway. But this is done so well by the looks of these images. I just think it's gorgeous. So hopefully it'll go onto Etsy if the campaign is successful. Well, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. What do you guys think?
I personally wouldn't. To me, it just looks like a black and white RWS deck, and I like the color in my. I've got some beautiful versions of the RWS. I've got my Blushing Fall. I've got the Dirty Pam. So it wouldn't really float my boat. But if you're a collector of RWS like you, then I would imagine. Yeah,
I feel complete with my RWS collection. I've got my Blushing Fall, I've got my Melanated, and the CS Tarot. So yeah, I think I'm pretty satisfied with what I've got. So but it looks nice.
A few people in the chat are saying they really like it. Jonathan backed it on Kickstarter. Sandra likes the black and white version. But then Gypsy Forever says, I agree with the need of colour in that deck. Mullamere loves black and white decks. Sean prefers colour too. So we've got a real sort of split. And I have got a black and white RWS. It's an old Mary Kay Greer one from the 80s that come with a cassette tape, and it's only a mini deck, and it's more like white with black drawings, whereas this one is more sort of it's got more depth to it. It's not just kind of pen drawings, is it? You know, this shading in there of black and grey and white and everything else. So
Yeah.
I just think it looks gorgeous. So yeah, hopefully it's funded and it goes to Etsy, and then I can buy it at a later date.
Yeah.
All right, so the second Kickstarter deck is Rebirth, Loomis and Nox Tarot deck. So I'll just put up a quick, this again is an RWS inspired kind of replica, if you like. But this is it's one campaign with 2 decks in it. I'm right saying that, aren't I, Al? Because you knew about this. And it ends on the 4th, so in 2 days' time. And it's hoped to be out for April. But if you want to back it, you've got 2 days left. And it's a husband and wife team. So the decks were created by Shelby Robertson, but it was her husband who approached her and said, let's do a deck. And she said I was on board straight away, especially when he said he wanted to create an RWS deck. It's heavily influenced by Rider-Waite-Smith, and it's available with 2 contrasting color options. So the Loomis deck, these are 310 GSM, black and gold pattern backing, whereas the Nox backing is black and white, but they're the same design. They come in tuck boxes. One has vibrant color, the other has black and white. So here's another kind of black and white one that you can get. But what they're saying is, as the creators, the idea behind the Loomis and Nox Tarot is that you create a unique RWS deck just for you, because they ask that you sit with them and choose your favorites from both decks to make one unique deck. So everybody that backs it is probably going to have their own sort of version. Of course, you can have 2 separate decks if that's how you wanted it. But the idea is you've got your preferred deck, and then all the others is like your backup deck, if you like. And I thought that's quite clever way to do that, because we were talking the other day about it was when we did I don't know if it was on Chris's channel or on my channel, because we did 2 on New Year's Eve, but was talking about reversals and how tarot already has light and shadow in it. And here's a deck where you can actually choose whether you want the moon card to have the black and white shadowy aspect to it or a vibrant color aspect to it, depending on how you view it. So I quite like the concept of this. But again, I'm not backing Kickstarter, but these are decks that I can see me getting in the future. So
yeah, I mean, you get 2 decks anyway.
yes.
When they come. So I don't really see the point, because if you've got one black and white deck and you've got the colored version, when you get them, you can just do that yourself, can't you?
Because the backs have the same designs, only with a different color contrast. What they're saying is, yes, you could have 2 separate decks if you want, but if you sit with the cards and choose which version you prefer for each card, you can create your own unique deck to you. And then
right, so
the deck would be, you know, your least favorites, but it'd be like a backup. But you've got a deck that speaks to you, and which is going to be different for everybody else who backs it, because they're all going to choose, you know, their own versions. So there's going to be 70 different possibilities, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it is very RWS. So I wouldn't back it, because I've got my fill, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, people in the chat are saying, yeah, it's clever. Usually there's a card or 2 I don't like. Again, yeah, if there's a card you don't like, you might be able to switch it up. Nox is sold out, but Loomis is available. How can it be sold out if it's on Kickstarter? Not quite sure how that works.
Yeah.
Yes, one deck mix, says Gypsy Forever, so she likes that. I'm saying they like that. Yeah, so again, there's quite a lot of people in the chat who like the idea of that. Okay, so mass market time. And it's Elle, you're starting. Oh no, sorry, Becca.
It's me, yeah. So this is the field tarot. And it's intended as an intuitive tool to help navigate through life, relationships, meditation, and our inner and outward journeys. It's inspired by colourful, feminine, and botanical, otherworldly dreamscapes. It connects art and spirituality with the ancient tradition of tarot reading. So it's a fully illustrated 78 card tarot deck based primarily off the Rider-Waite system, with some influence from other systems and decks. It's designed as a easy to read tool, and our favourite saying, suitable for beginners and seasoned tarot readers alike.
That's about the standard, doesn't it?
Yeah, so each card was designed and illustrated by the deck creator Hannah Elizabeth Fofana. It's her first tarot deck, but perhaps not her last. It was inspired organically through her long history of love for both tarot and design.
Wow. What do you think when you've looked into it? Oh, see that face?
I don't like it.
Don't you?
No, I don't know why. It is very yeah, I'm just not keen. Maybe I just need to sort of sit and have a look with more detailed images of it, and maybe it will grow on me, but I wasn't like bowled over.
Chantal Charm says it looks a bit like the Fountain Tarot to her.
Again, yeah.
Guys thing. It is a bit abstracty, isn't it? Especially some
Yeah.
Reminds me of the
And
Star Seeker.
Star Seeker, yeah.
Some of the cards as well in that remind me a little bit of some of the cards in the Japaritse.
Yeah.
Some of the cards in that are abstracty. So I've already got that, you know, and I love, but I wouldn't.
And dare I say, a little bit tothy, some of the pips with their style of pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I don't like it. It seems blah.
Yeah.
It's pippish, very clean design. Yeah, I get that. And those clean designs, there's quite a few, isn't there? Like Mystic Mondays and kind of that genre of sort of abstract art and very sort of clean and clinical. And I'm not drawn to that, to be honest. And I think that's why I rebel against Fountain Tarot so much. Fountain Tarot always gets a bad rep from me. Okay, Elle, you've got the next one.
It's the White Newman Tarot by Liminal 11. A tarot deck that lights your path to the spiritual realm. Inspired by ancient rituals and stories of sacred animal spirits, White Newman, a sacred animal tarot, forms a path to human reconnection with the natural world and spiritual realm. Sacred animal spirits, Newman, are interwoven into the classical imagery of the tarot to create stunning cards that are both otherworldly and yet highly contemporary. A stunning and original deck by Alba Ballester Gonzalez. I'm so excited for this deck. I got it for Christmas and it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Liminal 11 are one of my favorite tarot creating publishers anyway. There's some of their works that they've done right from Luna Sol. I just adore them. I think they're great and lovely to do business with as well and talk to. And so, yeah, so I'm excited for this one.
And UK based, aren't they?
Yeah, is it Ireland? Northern Ireland? Or am I mixing that up with somebody else? I might be thinking of actually Tarot Collectibles rather than Liminal 11, but yes, they are UK based. They always go to the tarot conference. It wasn't on this last year, but around October time, they usually have a stall at the UK Tarot Conference as well. I missed the images. Okay, I'll pop them back up. It's just a selection of 4 of the cards.
Oh, it looks so good.
It is very you, Elle, in terms of its art style, I have to say. But nice colour palette. And then Sandra says she's getting this one for sure. And then Zane says, I've been waiting for this one for so long. They keep listing it and pushing the release date back. Susie says, nah, don't like the art style. Looks like a comic book, says Chantel. Liminal 11, a fab, says Sandra. Yes, UK based. Scottish theme. Is there a deck with a Scottish theme? I'm not quite sure if there is. But yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I think that's an anticipated one. The last one that I've got is the Harmony Tarot. So the Harmony Tarot is released on the 28th of January. The publisher is Ryder. And it's by Harmony Nice. I love when people have names like Alicia Strawberry and have the Strawberry Tarot, and Harmony Nice, the Harmony Tarot. And it says, inspired by her own Wiccan path, influential YouTube star and modern witch, Harmony Nice has created the Harmony Tarot, an enchanting tarot deck and guidebook that offer a way to use tarot to improve well-being, as well as decisions and divination. This beautiful pack reimagines the traditional deck of 78 major and minor arcana cards, with the suits represented by 4 seasons. Each card has been thoughtfully designed to encourage you to connect with your thoughts and choices and inspire personal growth and healing. And I'm really looking forward to it because I'm really enjoying Wiccan and pagan themed decks at the moment. And I like it that it's saying it's inspired by the seasons, but I can imagine it's going to be a bit of a tarot deck that divides people, because some people see some of the suits representing different seasons to other people, you know. So whereas somebody might say swords is winter, other people don't see it like that, and they'll say, oh no, for me swords is autumn. Or so it'll be interesting to see which way they go. And as I was researching this afternoon, there is no definitive out there. And I know people will say, no, you know, cups is definitely summer, but you can read a different article and somebody will talk about, you know, cups being spring. So I'm interested to see how that comes across.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Like I've followed Harmony Nice for years on her YouTube channel. I hate her editing, drives me up the wall, but she's been through some real ups and downs in her life, and she still carries on and plows on. And yeah, so I'm really, I pre-ordered it as soon as it came up on Amazon, so I can't wait to get that one.
The art style is really nice. I like that sort of art. It looks very sort of, I don't want to make it sound, I don't mean amateurish, but it's innocent. It's quite, I don't know, how am I trying to word it?
Naive?
Yeah, a little bit naive, quite fresh. It has a young sort of energy to it. It's just quite simple.
And I think if you watch a few of her YouTube videos, particularly some of her newer, you know, the ones that she's done more recently, you'll see that, you know, her character reflected in the deck.
Yeah. Jen says childlike. I'd go with youthful.
Youthful, yeah.
Childlike, but yeah, I know. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm meaning. Okay, so that's our review of, well, not review. That's our news about indie, Kickstarter, and mass-produced decks. So the next thing is a little bit of tarot news. I've got one. I don't know who else is going to do the other, but last month we talked about Tarot of the Crone and how it was being brought back, and it was going to be on Little Red Tarot. And Sandra's been doing some research into that, and we've had a look as well today to see if there's been any further updates. But it's already out of stock. So those people who are hoping to have another chance at getting Tarot of the Crone, it has been taken off Little Red Tarot. So obviously they was hoping to get it, but the response has obviously been great, and it's already out of stock. So whether it's out of print again or whether, I don't know, there's some problem in terms of getting it published, but you can't get it at the moment. So we just wanted to give an update on that. And then we've got something about Dream Keepers. Did one of you want to mention?
It's being re-released, isn't it? The Dream Keepers. I've just had a look on Amazon, and it just says currently unavailable for it. So
I have seen some walkthroughs from American YouTubers. So
yeah, it was published on the 1st of November 2020 by US Games Systems. So it's not available at the minute, but you can go on a list and they'll notify you when it comes up.
I've got the independent version, and it was been mass produced, hasn't it? It's gone mass market. Sandra said it will be printed again. It's saying on the website. Oh, Sandra, do you mean Tarot of the Crone, though? That might be in response to Tarot of the Crone.
Yeah, I've just got well, you probably can't see that picture very well at all.
Big. Just wait one sec. There we go.
Very reflective. Apologies, but that looks gorgeous. I've never seen it before. I've never looked at the Dream Keepers, but it does. Front cover art looks gorgeous.
You not watched my walkthrough, Becca?
Not a recent one again. Please tell me it's not a recent one.
We keep having this, don't we? Oh, she'll be like, I've never seen this deck. I'm like, Becca, I've just done a walkthrough. Do you never watch my videos?
No, well, you're the same. You're the same. You didn't know that I'd just done a walkthrough of one.
Well, I have been busy. It has been Christmas. Oh dear, we're only having fun. We don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
No, we don't. Not much anyway. But yeah, it looks really nice. I like it.
Yeah, cool.
I will go forthwith after Tarot Times and watch your walkthrough of the Dream Keepers.
All right then. So that moves us on now to our review of the Dark Goddess Tarot. I love doing this bit.
Yeah.
For those of you who might be the first time here, what we do, the three of us, is we work with a deck we usually like to try and work with it for the month prior, but sometimes with ordering the deck, we don't get a full month, but we do have time to work with the deck, read the book, have a look at our favorite cards, least favorite cards, that sort of thing. And then we discuss it with you on this channel from 3 different perspectives. And we use 10 categories, and we give a score out of 5 for each of those 10 categories. And then at the end, we give our full marks out of 10. And usually that's an average of adding up those scores and applying it across. If we score a deck less than 5 out of 10, then we put it up for a giveaway. So sometimes there's no giveaway, like last month. Sometimes there might be 1 or 2 of us giving it away, and you might get an occasion where none of us really like it, and we've got 3 to give away, and then we do a draw. So The first thing then is to just talk about our favourite and least favourite cards in the deck before we go through each of those 10 categories. So who wants to go first?
Yeah, I don't mind. Now, I didn't feel with this particular deck that I could choose favourites and least favourites because it is a deck that is based on goddesses. So if I said some of the cards were my least favourite, it's only because I don't know anything about that particular goddess. So I can't choose least favourites. So, but the ones that I have chosen are goddesses that I've had a little bit of kind of interaction with, or I've worked with, or studied with. One of them is Hel, which is a gorgeous card, and of course Gaia. And I've done a little bit of work with Hecate too, and also there's Freya and the Morrigan. I did pick one because there's a lot of bright colours in this deck, but there's two other cards here. There is the Oya card, which is beautifully bright and gorgeous. So I can't pick a least favorite because the art style in each card is how it would appear in traditionally depicted. So I would feel like I was insulting it a little bit if I said, "Ew, look, I don't like that card," because of the image, you know, when that's how they're depicted. Like, just to give you an example, like Sheila Nagig, which is quite graphic. I can't say that I don't like it because that is how she's depicted. So, yeah, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Hey, Al?
Oh, a big screen straight
Who
away.
were?
I'm kind of the same as Becca. I couldn't really pick favourites and least favourites because, yeah, I mean, they are kind of what they are, and I really like the art style. But I'd say I really love the Lalorna 5 of Water because I feel like in modern society, because it's she's a spirit. I think in Mexico, she's a spirit, a lost spirit who her kids were drowned, and she's called the Wailing Woman, who goes around at night trying to find them. I think something to that thing. Don't quote me on that. But I like how she's included in a goddess deck and kind of given the respect that she deserves, because there's a lot of kind of ghost hunt stuff, and I feel like she's, I don't know, yeah, I think a lot of people treat her more as a, you know, like a funny legend and will go out trying to ghost hunt and solve things. But it's nice to see her depicted in a goddess deck, and it's done respectfully rather than, you know, told as a, you know, a bit of a piss take story. And my least favourite, I wouldn't say it's my least favourite, but I guess just thinking about if you picked up this deck and didn't want to use the guidebook, you might struggle with like who this goddess is and how it depicts the moon. Yeah, it might be kind of hard to get any intuitive hits, but yeah, I really like the artwork. I really don't have a favourite and least favourite.
Okay. So I kind of did my favourites and least favourites just based on, not necessarily because they're depicting a particular goddess, but how they really spoke to me from the images that they convey. And there's only two where I kind of think, oh, I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more. And it's the Face of the Deep. I don't know, it's quite hard, isn't it, to depict it in any other way, but I just felt with the deck being how it is, that this one just kind of stood out a little bit. And then Hell, what Becca was talking about, I've seen some amazing depictions of Hell, not least the one that you've got, Becca, and I just felt that this was just, I don't know, it just seemed a little bit, compared to some of the other goddesses and how they've been depicted. But I've got so many that I love that really spoke to me. And La Llorona. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it, but I just thought that that was such a powerful image. Peregrine is beautiful. I loved, is that pronounced Pele? Like, almost like the footballer, because it's spelled the same way. But Black Madonna, depicted beautifully. I loved La Santa Muerte. My man Brigitte, Baba Yaga, I just thought is stunning. I dropped one of the cards. Talk amongst yourselves. Gaia, I had to, and I've had Gaia out on my altar space, and almost I forgot to put her back in. Lilith, I think, is depicted beautifully, and look at that, isn't that gorgeous? So yeah, there was quite a few that I liked. I think it's a stunning deck compared to Tower of the Crone, which is the other deck by the same creator. This one for me wins hands down. So shall we do now then the 10 category rating? So the first category is packaging. Do we go in the same order? Becca, Elle, and then myself?
Yeah. I really love the packaging. You've got hang on, I'm just trying to put, they are quite slippy. So the box is really nice, magnetic closure again, and I like this detail. Sort of like, it's like you're opening a secret box, that you might store secret things in. So I really like it. It's got nice pattern on the inside. This part, there's nothing for the cards to slip down into. So I can't really fault the packaging. It's got some beautiful illustrated cards, some of the brightest ones on the front. So yeah, I really like the packaging style for this. So I'm gonna have to give it a 5 for packaging.
Well, I've got the indies, but in terms of comparison, it came in a 2-part box. Not really that amazing. So it's quite glossy. I think it's definitely been upped in terms of quality and whatnot. So I'll give it a 2. It does the job. It's definitely improved.
So I love red feather boxes. I do miss their ribbons. I thought the ribbon was a nice touch, and it protects the spine as well, because you can't go too far back with it. I loved like what Becca said with like undoing this case. However, it came with a really, really flimsy inside holding area, those kind of paper ones. And if you see my walkthrough of this deck, it was torn in one corner, and I knew it wouldn't keep the cards nicely. So I got a beautiful bag with silver lining, and I took that out, but it did scar the box removing it because it was glued in. But I couldn't live with that in there because it would damage the card. So I took that out. I could line it, underneath, but I thought once the book's in there and the bag's in there anyway, So I give it a 3 out of 5. It's nice, it's big, it's sturdy, and I'm glad it's big for the simple fact is it has to be this big to keep the book. And when we get to the book, I'll explain why I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5.
I think you must have got a fault. Yours must have been faulty, mustn't it? Or it must have been ripped, because this is really, mine is really solid. You know, there's nothing slim, you know, it's not moving around or anything. So I think if you get an in,
it was ripped in one corner, which made it all unstable, and the cards were not.
Yeah.
So, Schiffer Red Feather boxes are, you know, really good usually. So I know it was just a damaged one, or
yeah.
You know. Okay, so that takes us on to the book.
Wow, yeah, the book. Now, one thing I did note at the front, because there isn't a huge amount about each goddess, but she does say at the front of the book only a small part of what can be known about each goddess is presented. My focus is the aspect of the goddess as it relates to the energy of the card. And then she talks about how the goddesses have got so much to them with regards to history, and then it's over to you then to research. But she does include the main bits which relate to that particular tarot card. It's got like full-page color image, which I really like, of every single card. So yeah, I mean, and it does seem, although it's kind of condensed versions about each goddess, there is quite a little bit about when that card appears in a reading, which I quite liked. So yeah, I thought it was a really good book. I don't know, I hate giving books not lower marks than 5 when I can't find anything wrong with it, particularly after she explains at the beginning why. You know.
So what are you giving? 5. Al, you've got the indie book, haven't you?
Yeah, so I think you guys have the Dark Goddess Tarot Companion book that I'm pretty sure I had to buy it separate from the deck in a Kindle. It only came in like a PDF version, but from what Becca was showing, I think it's the same, like you get a page and a bit. But if you just bought, so if I just do it as if I've just bought the deck, it just comes with just a little white book, a few images, and for each, so say for the Suit of Water, it has Ace of Water, Face of the Deep, Ancient Goddess of Water, and then it will say a little quote, or the sea knows all souls, which is not much, but I quite like it. Because a lot of goddess decks I feel are really intense, whereas because Ellen's done these little mini quotes or sayings for each of the cards, I feel like it's quite easy to just do a long reading, not get too deep with it. It's just like a nice easy deck to do a quick reading on. But I actually quite like it. I'd give it a well, I guess it's. I guess I'll have to give it a low score though. I guess 2, because in comparison to you guys, a bit crap, innit?
Yeah, and that's what I like about this. That, you know, sometimes when a deck goes from being an indie to mass market, you lose something, and I really feel with this deck that hasn't happened. You know, I think the cards are, well, no, we'll get onto that. I'm jumping ahead. But in terms of the book, The only thing for me lacking is, because I always struggled with dark goddess, because there's all types of goddesses in here, and I wondered why she was referring to them all as dark goddesses. And there's only a very small bit, which is the introduction at the beginning, and she just talks about dark goddesses are disturbing, fearsome, and beautiful. They can be shunned or overlooked as they represent aspects of life that people find uncomfortable, sometimes only when the powers are female or in female hands, sorry. So she doesn't really explain, why somebody like Gaia is in with the dark goddesses, but goddesses are multifaceted, aren't they? So talking about that aspect of goddesses. I like the fact that we get quick reference guides. So, you can just look up at a glance let's say the hermit is Baba Yaga, and also the renaming of the court. So Amazon for page, Siren for knight, witch for queen, and hag for king. So I really like that. How to work with the goddesses. But then the best bit is these beautiful full page color illustrations, which are probably 3 times the size of the actual card. So you do get to see lot of detail as well. And as Becca said, the write-up I find really, really useful, because you don't get eons, loads and loads of information to read, but you get enough to know a little bit about the origin, the culture, and it's written really, really well. So for Kali, for instance, it would say that Kali is the Hindu goddess of the end of time, and she's obviously destruction. So that's the tower, would be the tower, card 16. And it says the goddess of the cemeteries. She is Black Mother Time. Her skin is the blue or black of the endless eternal void. Her necklace of head stands for the severance of the ego and of ignorance. So it gives you a lot of information about that goddess, and then it goes into when Kali appears in a reading. So I think the book is beautifully written. I think it's a bonus with having the mass market version for sure, because it comes as a set. You don't have to buy the book separately or download it on Kindle. So I've given the book 5 out of 5, because I think it's just enough for me. In my ADD, I don't want to be reading reams and reams. It's enough.
Yeah, and it gives you enough. So if you find that you're really connecting with one particular goddess, as she says, you can then go out yourself and find out more, because there's so much really about each goddess, which you'd fill volumes and volumes. So yeah.
Okay, next point is representation.
I don't see as you can really kind of judge it as far as like representation, because you've got like lots of different depictions in here, as goddesses would appear. So you've got age differences with obviously like Baba Yaga is in there. So as far as representation goes, I'm gonna have to give it a 5, because they are depicted as they would necessarily be depicted. So and there are different like body shapes in there also, and different ages, and obviously skin tones, which goes without saying because of the regions from where these particular goddesses come from. So I'll have to give it 5 again. I can't really not.
No?
What made someone do it? Jamie says I've made her buy the Star Seeker Tarot.
Oh,
Sorry, that was random. But representation. I mean, yeah, like Becca said, there seems to be a vast variety of goddesses, spirits, mothers, yeah, all sorts. And I guess because it's goddesses, maybe there are aspects of representation that could be lost due to the style of artwork, because it is detailed, but not as, it's not as detailed. It doesn't include, really zoomed in. I don't really know. I'd say I'd give it a 4 because it is what it is. It's goddesses from all over the world. So,
yeah. I can't really add much more to what both of you said. In the spirit of transparency, I'm not an expert on all different cultures, but from what I've read, it appears that Ellen has done her homework, but then I'm not expert enough to say whether she has or not, because I don't follow a lot of the spiritual or religious paths that are being depicted in terms of the goddesses represented. But it's given me insights into other practices, other goddesses that I might not be familiar with. But I think it's done so well, and looking at it, it's representing lots of spiritual paths and cultures, and I think it's done well. So yeah, I'll give it a 5. Art style.
I like it. She has not depicted. She's not tried to make them look more beautiful. She's not changed their skin color. They are what they are. I did. She's what? Sorry.
So she's not CBR'd them.
No, and I did have a look at some other images online of like several different ones of them, because I thought, like, particularly the white skinny ones, I thought, oh, I'm going to have a look to see how they're represented in different original kind of artwork. And the ones I looked at were pretty much the same. I mean, she's not shied away from details. She's not like, give this one pert bosoms when they weren't drawn with pert bosoms. So I mean, I really like the art style. I love the coloration as well. I think there's some beautiful, gorgeous, rich colors in it. So I really like it. Each card is different. Each card is just a unique depiction. So I can't give it anything other than a 5 for that as well. I really like it.
Yeah, I really love the art style as well. It's right up my alley. I think because I've got her other deck, Tarot of the Crone, I slightly prefer the artwork in that over this one. So maybe if I give it a 4, and then I'd say my Tarot of the Crone is a 5. So I'd say 4 out of 5.
Wow, I'm the opposite way around. I found Tarot of the Crone more primitive than this. This seemed to have a little bit more detail, particularly in the background and everything else. So I preferred it over, and I traded my Tarot of the Crone. But it's quite simple, isn't it? The artwork in this deck, it's not complicated. It's quite simple. But there's something about it that I like. But I give it a 3 out of 5 because it is quite simple. But then there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. But I give it a 3 out of 5. Readability.
Now, this is a deck that you are definitely going to need to read it along with the book. I mean, you could just go with your usual like RWS meanings, I think, but you would lose an awful lot because there's so much with each. So when each card comes up, so like when Mutt, for instance, if you drew Mutt, there's so much connected in that interpretation with the goddess herself that I think you would have to read it definitely until you get used to it alongside the book. So in that respect, it reads really. I've had some quite powerful readings from this. Being, you know, a woman, it seemed to have like a real deep connection, and I would imagine it that would be the same, would draw out the same things if you were male or whatever. You could pick this up and get some really good deep readings for whatever your gender. So I'm gonna have to give it a 5. You know, I've had some amazing readings with it. Sorry, going on, but yeah, 5.
I'd say so. Readability in terms of, I guess, accessibility for like beginner readers. Whereas the court cards have been, the names have changed, and if I didn't have the titles of Two of Earth, I wouldn't have any clue that that is, you know, the Two of Pentacles, or because they don't have the normal you know, hints of, you know, 9 of Swords, it has 9 swords, so it doesn't really have that to give you a clue. But, and yeah, I would need a guidebook or even just a little book to know what goddess is being represented, why they've been chosen. So I think you definitely need a book. So it's not a deck I feel like you can just pick up. So I give it a 2.
I give it exactly the same, Mel. I've given it a 2 as well. This deck is amazing. It really is amazing, but I have not used it as a tarot deck. I have an oracle deck by Barbara Mickle-John-Free and Flavia Kate Peters called Dark Goddesses. And I was using them last year as altar cards. On each month, I would put a different goddess on my altar. And I've started using this. So it is a tarot deck, don't get me wrong, but I've been using this to work with goddesses, to read about goddesses by pulling a card and reading the book about them. But I've not done a tarot spread using this because the reasons Els just said, I would struggle with that. So I think they're great if you want to work with goddesses by pulling a card and reading about them. I think they make great altar cards for your sacred spaces, but I've given it a 2 because it's its own thing. It follows. It's laid onto the tarot system, but there are changes. And like Becca said, you need the book if you're going to read it like that. So I haven't used it kind of like a tarot deck. I've used it more as an oracle or for working with goddesses and using them on my altar. All right. 6 is individuality, uniqueness.
Well, I mean, I think it's very unique. There are a few goddess decks out there, as we know, and they haven't done a very good job in a lot of instances. And I think this, in terms of the array of goddesses depicted in here, is yeah. So I've got a mages only goddess deck, but I don't have one like this. So for me, it's extremely unique. And in terms of when I've looked at other goddess decks online, this seems to be really, really well done. So I think it's, you know, for me, it's got a lot of uniqueness to it. So yeah, oh God, I hate giving scores other than like really like full marks when I can't find anything that I don't like. It seems like I'm giving it 5 for everything, but yeah. So okay, I'll give it 4 just for a change.
You can give everything 5 if you feel it's 5.
What? Yeah, I do. That's the thing. I do. It feels like a 5 for me. So 5.
Yeah. Well,
It's very unique to me in terms of my collection. I've got nothing else like it. It's one of the goddess decks. I mean, I obviously don't purport to be an expert in all these different arrays of cultures, and I'm, not the person to ask, to make judgment on how inclusive or representational it is, but I would say it's one of the decks, the goddess decks, done with a lot more intention, and it seems to be done with respect. Because there are so many goddess decks out there that you just want to make your eyes just roll into the back of your head, because it's just so whitewashed, so beautified, so westernized, and I really appreciate the depictions. They seem to be rather true to the goddess themselves. Again, only from what I can tell. But yeah, I would give it, for uniqueness, I'd give it a 4. I think, it's one of the decks around this kind of thing done right out there. So yeah, I'd give it a 4.
Yeah. I agree with Rebecca. I give it a 5. I just want, when I look at this deck and I walk through it, I just wanted to say, well done, Ellen, for keeping it real. Not whitewashing, not trying to appeal to mass markets, and just being true and giving us something that's a really good, fair representation. So in terms of that, and I did mention the other oracle, the Dark Goddesses, and that's pretty much, authentic as well. But other well-known decks by well-known creators, by a well-known publisher, really sold out, and I think they took a bashing for that. But this deck was out before that, so this was, because it's only just come to mass market, it's been around for a couple of 3-4 years, and it was a forerunner, and I'm really impressed by it. So in terms of individuality, uniqueness, I give it a 5, and a big thumbs up and well done to the creator. Cardstock.
It's shiny, but it's nice, thick cardstock. It moves really. It's very, very fluid. So it's for overhand shuffling. I would imagine if you're a riffle shuffler as well, it would be nice. And it's got this really beautiful gold gilding around it, which is stunning. So yeah, I mean, I prefer cardstock with less shine on them, but that's just like a personal thing. But the cardstock is great, so I'll give it a 4 for cardstock.
So mine's the indie one, which is very different. No gilding, although I had shining brick to match the backs. No, mine's quite good cardstock. It's thick. It's got a sheen, but not too shiny. It's definitely upped its game now it's gone to mass market. I'm a bit biased because I love that it's kind of a throwback to good old-fashioned tarot cardstock before it went all, high range with all your, rose petal and gilding. It's nice to just have a deck that you can just throw about, and but it's I guess I've got to give it a low score because in comparison to you guys, it's a 2.5. I'm giving the half.
She's going with the halves.
Yeah.
I love it. This is a chunky monkey. It is a thick deck. I don't mind that it's glossy because if we think back to when Schiffer, before Red Feather came in, was producing decks like the original Marielle, and they were very sticky. And this isn't sticky at all. It's just beautiful to handle. The gilding is done really well, and I've used this a lot since I've had it, which is about 6 weeks now. There's no sign of chipping or anything. They're a nice size. They haven't got the massive borders that we used to get with Schiffer Red Feather decks. But the quality of the card is absolutely beautiful, and it's just dreamy. Yes, I would have preferred matte, but it's a small thing. But 4 out of 5. Backs.
Backs are very simple. I really like that they've got, which it looks like I don't think it is, but it looks like a compass on the back. They're very antique-y, but I liked the compass thing because it makes me think of all the different regions around the world from which these goddesses came from. I like it. It's aged as well. It's got, I don't know if you can really see, but it's got like sort of little age splodges on there almost. So yeah, I really like them. So I'm going to give the backs a 5 for me.
So I have these sort of scales. I prefer my backs, but when Becca said it's got the compass and like it represents the goddesses from all over, it seems a lot more intentional in comparison to some scales, which seems a bit more random. But I like mine better, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for that.
And if we could do a smelly vision, it smells lush.
Does it?
Oh, I love the smell of this particular deck.
I don't
Simon always gets his nose right in it to where he swishes.
I can't smell anything, that's why. But anyway, I would have preferred a darker back. I don't know why. I think with it being dark goddess and everything like that, even if it was a plain black back, I would have preferred it. It just, with having this beige colour and seeing the original, like Els, I prefer the indie back, yeah. Darker the better, but I do like the compass. But I was surprised when I got it and I turned it over and saw a light coloured back, but I would prefer darker. So I don't know.
Sorry. I don't know if you've noticed either that the backs are slightly different colours. There's very slight difference in some of the colours.
No,
is it like that on the fronts as well?
Mine are all the same coloured backs, but they've even got the 2 splodges in the top right-hand corner, so it's the same.
But these 2, see?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got that.
And one of them is major and the other is a minor. So they are some of them are very slightly different colours. Whether that is something that shouldn't have happened or not, I don't know. But they just seem to appear in equal amounts. So, yeah, like that's very pale, that one, look. In compared,
really weird because I've just gone through mine. I can't see any difference, but I'm in half light really, so I'll have to look.
My fronts are all different colours. Your fronts, like the border, the grey borders, slightly different in their colours.
No. The borders are all the same, but it's just I just noticed with the backs are slightly different colours. They remind me of an old map. You know, the
Yeah.
old maps that you get that you kind of lay out there that's a bit aged and everything.
Okay. 9 is value for money, the price point.
I can't remember. Oh, well, I got sent this, so I didn't actually pay anything for it, but I think it's around about, is it 24?
No,
Something like,
27 is what it is currently.
right, okay. So it is a bit more on the expensive side in that terms, but I think for what you get and the quality of everything that you get, I mean, the book in itself, if you bought a book like this on its own, you'd probably pay about £15 for something like this. So with everything, I think it's more expensive, but the quality's there to justify it. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 for that.
I'm trying to find where if I've got, or on her website, if she's still got the book listed separately, because I paid for the deck and the book separately, so you guys have got a bargain there because you've got the book included with the deck.
And you pay more for indie as well, don't you?
Yeah, although I think this was quite reasonable. I feel like it's maybe about £35 or something around that mark. Yeah, but in comparison to you guys, again, you got the better deal by far. So so should I rate my cost of this deck or yours?
You've got an indie you've got a mass market coming, haven't you? So I would go with that.
Yeah, so I mean, in comparison to the indie, it's a 5 out of 5 because you get a book included for free.
And of course, that's one of the bonuses of a deck going to mass market, is to make it more accessible to a more, you know, a mass market audience, consumer. So
it's actually 21.32 on Book Depository. It was 28, so it's now £21.
When I looked today, when I was doing my scores on Amazon, it was 27.35. But about a week or so ago, Al, it was around 24. So it does, but that's Amazon, isn't it? It fluctuates constantly. But it's between 20 and £30, which is around, if you're paying £30, that'd be around $40, $41, $42. So for the quality of this deck, and you know, it is a quality deck, and the book and the packaging and everything, I had to give it 5 out of 5 because I think it's really, really good value for money. So the last point is the wow factor, the overall wow factor for this deck.
Well, for me, it's a 5. I just loved it. I loved going through the images, and the colors are just gorgeous colors. And yeah, 5 for me. I think it's fab.
Al?
I'm trying to, okay, so if I think of the indie one, well, I mean, it's the same deck. I really love this deck. I love Ellen's work. I'd give it a 4.5.
Well, I've got 3 5 out of 5s, 4 out of 5s. There's 3s. There's a 2 in there for readability. So overall, the wow factor, with the beautiful gilding, the good cardstock, the great book, the beautiful packaging, even though mine was damaged, I give it 4 out of 5 for the wow factor. So all that remains to do is for us now collectively to say how we would score this deck out of 10. So I've already written mine down. So
I forget every time. I need a bit of paper.
I forget every time.
I'm using my usual notepad.
Oh my God, I've not got a thing around me. I'll do it on my hand.
Okay, it's
That's fun.
48.72 in Canadian dollars. I think Jen put the US price in as well earlier, but I can't see it now. But I think she said it was around 42 or something like that. Was that right, Jen?
We can't see it. I need paper. Have I got any under here? Is this it? Oh, I found some paper. Let me move.
About 40 US dollars. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah. Dark Goddess. Scores out of 10. 3, 2, 1. 8, 9, 10.
I
Wow.
went up one because I did originally put 8.
Wow. So Dark Goddess fared really well for our review. Just just for a bit of fun, in the chat, do you want to give it a score out of 10 from what you've seen today? Having seen everything that we've done, how would you score the Dark Goddess out of 10? Let's have a look what we get. Yeah, Jen's put no giveaway this time, folks.
I'm surprised I've scored higher than you, Simon. That must be the first time in history that's ever happened.
I think so, yeah.
We haven't really got a Simon Cowell, have we, in this group? I think I'm the nicest one, but you know, like judges.
I think I'd say I'm.
Yeah, I was the more harsh one, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Kim says 9.5.
Yeah. Malumia 9. Carl is 10. Lyria 10. It's not for me, so no score. That is harsh. She's the Simon Cowell of the group.
Sean's got a 9.
Yeah, Sandra's 9. Jackie's 8. That's because we're built, but have the same birthday, Jackie. Abundant.
Chris is 9.5, so he's doing a point.
Oh, it's getting like L. Abundance, Tarot 9. Lady Alcamilla 7. Susie 5-ish. She's somewhere in the middle. Jonathan 8. Zelida 7. Tycon 5. Maharet is around 5, maybe, she says.
Nancy's a 9.
I mean, if everyone in the chat had the deck, no one would be giving it away because no one scored more than 5.
Yeah. Well, it's 5 or below, is it, that we give it away?
Oh, is it?
Is it? 5 or below, I think, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, Tycon would then.
Richard,
Tycon.
Nancy 9. No, I was being too nice, says Orsi. Too nice by not rating it. Yeah, so you're right. You know, there's only been a couple of people giving it away. So it's been quite a hit, I think. So that brings us to the end. So obviously no giveaway, but we will be back on Saturday, the 6th of February. Same time, 6 p.m. UK time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we're going to be reviewing a deck that we've talked about today, which is the Harmony Tarot. If it's out in time, because it's saying it's going to be released in January, but very often decks that are due to be out on Book Depository or Amazon aren't always guaranteed to be released on those days, but hopefully it'll be here. So the Harmony Tarot is what we'll be reviewing collectively as a channel next month on the 6th of Feb. So thank you to everybody that's been here today. I've really enjoyed Tarot Times today. And again, Happy New Year. And yeah, thank you for joining us.
Oh, can I quickly call something out here? What is this with the Hermit's Cave with the Tarot Times? With your free advertising?
Oh, yeah.
I beg your pardon.
Well, how do I get around
You
that?
are.
How do I get around that? Because it's my streaming pod.
Yeah, that's true, because he's taken off the stream. You've paid, and you've got this. You can put your own logo on there.
Yeah,
We need a logo.
That's a fair point, isn't it? Because unless one of you guys host, but then we won't be able to add pictures and everything in, because you don't get that with the free service.
What do you have to pay for?
The middle one, it's about £20 a month.
You're paying
Oh,
£20
wow.
a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be sticking to the StreamYard logo.
I'm too much of a tight ass.
I don't know if I can change the logo in. Oh, I can. I can just go to the duck. There you are, look. L.
Ah.
Or
Oh, Jen's Balanced Tarot. You can turn off the logo when streaming, Simon.
yeah.
Oh, is that what you just did? Oh.
You can.
Oh yeah, that's not your logo, is it? I always think the duck. It's still yours.
I just didn't know because it's just been there automatically, and I just went live through our channel.
Yeah, sure. Not the free advertisement.
Well, fancy saying at the end. You could have said at the beginning, and I'd have looked there.
I never thought anything of it. Trust Elle. She's definitely the Simon Cowell of the group.
Yeah. Well, if you remind me next month, because it will default to that. So remind me next month, and I will turn it off before we go live if I forget.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Really enjoyed hanging out with everybody, and we'll see you. Oh, thank you, Sandra, as well, for your research and sending everything through to us, as you always do. It's always appreciated. So see you all next time. Bye.